Hey guys, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn Modern Day mod here today on the channel. We're going to be playing as Mexico. The main objective of today's video is to bring back the Mexican Empire and to become the dominant power in Central America. Let's go. Alrighty, so I think we want to try and take as much territory in Central America as we can, and then maybe go down into South America. The North is pretty much off limits, as they're in a firm NATO alliance. I would have liked to join NATO, but we're not allowed to. Because funnily enough, the only two NATO powers allowed in the alliance are Canada and the States, but NATO is primarily a European alliance, so only European powers are allowed to join. I think at one point Trump wanted Brazil to join. Yeah, that's the last thing I heard about Brazilian sort of American NATO enlargement. So we're going to have to go do our own thing. Alright, so we want to buff up our military spending. We want to... Okay, we don't need to change the policing apparatus too much. We currently have free primary education. Okay, the health budget needs to be increased quite a bit. But everything else we're okay. We've got a partial draft. I would like to get more women and more people in. So here is the tech tree for Mexico. We've got a huge population that we can draw from. Obviously, we've got a massive trade partner in the north, which is America, where we can sell a lot of our goods to. We can provide cheap labor and we can sell them, well, all kinds of goodies, I guess. If you know what I mean. Alright, so let's create a Mexican agency. Alright, so what have we got? Oh, we actually got pretty modernized rifles, which is interesting. Alright, so let's get a SCAR variant in. We want to try and get really good small arms and equipment. We can always buy equipment with the US. We're going to be at least friendly with them. So we've got some armored personnel carriers there. It's probably not a bad idea to get main battle tanks in production because we're not producing any. But yeah, I think we want to try and stabilize and grow Mexico into a dominant military alliance, form its own empire, get rid of the cartels, and sort of stabilize Mexico as a American power. So we probably could get some better quality fighter jets. Industry we're actually not too bad in, which is good. And we could get some divisions. We've got a bunch of divisions at our disposal as well. Our logistics is not too bad either. And I don't think we're ever going to be able to get nuclear weapons. The US would never allow that on their border, I would imagine. We don't want a Cuba situation going on here. Alright, well, trade-wise, we've got a bunch of oil, which is good. So let's get this in. Our military factories. So we'll focus on small arms. So we actually can produce American helicopters and American jets. Wasn't there one point we asked the Americans for a lend-lease, essentially, of helicopters to help with the cartels, and we had to send them back because we weren't properly trained to use them properly. And it was just a bad idea. Yeah, when you send equipment overseas, like if you're America or France and Australia to some extent, you got to make sure the local crews can be trained properly. So we can get a bunch of stuff here. So I reckon getting American drones, like Harriers, Eagles, Super Hornet. Let's order a couple of those because Air Force is key in Hearts of Iron 4 and it also is in this game as well. So if we could get some US drones, that would be magnificent. Alright, so here's our armored personnel carrier. Okay. So divisions wise, not too bad. A lot to work with. So basically just a normal standard RPG there. We want to try and get javelins from the US eventually. And maybe even NLAWs from Sweden or the UK potentially. Navy wise as well, let's keep one in the Gulf of Mexico and maybe even the coast. But I think we make plans and preparations to go into Central America, and eventually we want to try and control the Panama Canal. If we can get all that trade, that would be delicious. Okay, so we've got an investment offer from Germany. Oh, wow. Britain cedes the Falklands. Oh, wow. 2017. Would you believe it? They've given it back to the Argentines. Argentines? I don't know. Alright, so I think we try and gobble up all this territory here. There's so many small independent countries, so it might be better off just to declare war upon all of them and just storm all the way down to Panama City. If we can control the canal, we can control pretty much the North American Central American trade. We've got the military power to do so. We've got 100k in our manpower, and let's go. First things first, Mexico is going to declare war upon Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and I'm sure seeing all these Central American powers get declared war on, they're going to rally together and hopefully give us a good fight. We eventually want to go all the way down to the Panama Canal and then get it under our control. If we can seize it like the Brits did to the Suez, we're going to be able to dictate the trade lanes in the north. We're going to be able to make so much money. And also, we can use the Panama Canal, both sides, as a place where we can store our navy as well. Alright, let's go in and bring Central America under the control of Mexico. Oh my god, look how many we're at war with. Let's go, 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 go. Fierce fighting is now breaking out. Air Force operating over the top. I think we'll try and core most of this territory as we do border with them. Okay, we're doing well. Nice. They've capitulated. We're slowly but surely gobbling up a lot of territory. Costa Rica is now under our control. Alright, Panama is the last holdout now. Nice. Hey. So we've taken all of this territory directly under Mexican control. Oh my god, look how much it goes through. We're going to core it as it's right on our border. And then what I think we'll do is once we move into the South American subcontinent, we might look to puppet, as they are slightly different ethnically. I don't know, I think Central's more sort of closer, culturally at least. Alright, now let's move the navy to Panama City, and we can essentially have our navy sit there and dominate both sides, which is fantastic. We can use it as a massive naval base. Now, unfortunately, we can't actually go over from our border here in Panama. The jungle is like way too thick, so what we're going to have to do is navally invade. I guess we provide some relief in the crisis. Yeah, so we can't actually just move straight over there. So we're going to have to use the navy. We'll try and take a port and we'll naval invade into Colombia. We'll use that as a staging ground and a base of operation. And what we'll do is we'll probably puppet Colombia, I think. And then we'll form a state combining Venezuela, Ecuador. Alright, looks like the Canadians want to help. Nice. The Spanish, of course. And let's move on in. Alright, so they're giving us some resistance here, but it looks like Colombia is being defiant. And a little bit harder than Central America, at least. Okay, so we failed that one, unfortunately. I do quite like that in the image of the ships, that to transport units navably in the modern day mod, they just use huge, like, shipping container convoys. Like, they just look like your average day shipping container convoy. So, never fear, Canada is here. So, we've sent a elite special unit in. Now, they're going to be a little bit under pressure because they don't have supply. But the only port we can get into are actually struggling. So, we've sent in a special unit of Mexican... I don't know, what are Mexican special forces? Spexnaz? Spexnaz? It's not that, I know. But I don't know. Like, the Brits have the SAS. The Americans... Oh, we actually kind of baited them. Have the SEALs. And, Rangers and whatnot. What's the Mexican Special Forces? I don't know, let me know in the comments. But we're landing now, we've got a port. It was a nice bait and distraction now that we're in. Okay, so having the port is massive. Because now we can just flood units in. We're setting a bunch of plans now in action. We're pushing them back into the interior. The Colombian coast has been taken by Mexico. And they've capitulated. So what we're going to do is we're going to puppet the country. Because it will be a little bit easier to control and administrate. Particularly since we can't literally go over there due to that border there. So Colombia has now been puppeted. And because we have a puppet, we can now create a faction as well. Which is fantastic. So what we'll do is allow the Colombian central government, which we control, to bring in Venezuela and then Ecuador. We've also managed to steal the Colombian Navy as well, so we control the supremacy. So let's create a faction. So we had a couple of options. We could have gone with, like, I don't know, a NATO equivalent or something, but I thought, why not? Or the Aztec Empire. I thought it'd be quite funny. But we're going to go with the Mexican Empire, which obviously was a thing at one point. Holding territory as far north in America as California, and of course parts of what is modern day Texas now. So here we go. The Mexican Alliance, friendly with NATO. Looks like Canada actually left NATO, which is interesting. Justin Trudeau loves sending tanks to South America for whatever reason. But yeah, we can't seem to invite them. That would be good if we could. We might try and improve relations. We might be able to bring in Canada into the alliance. Alright. Let's war Venezuela. Now, obviously, Venezuela is such a resource-rich, valuable country and holds... I don't know exactly... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like 1/3 of the world's oil supply. It's kind of crazy. So we'll get that under our control. We're pushing them well. The war's going really, really well. And Venezuela has capitulated. And we've made a huge, greater Colombian state. The Brits and the Canadians really helping us out in this one. Alright, let's continue on. Colombia has given us a bunch of manpower as well, so nearly we can use up to 1 million manpower at our disposal, which is huge. And finally, the earlier purchases of the US Grey Eagle drones and fighter jets are here as well, which is going to be needed, as we're going to be able to go after Brazil. I think Bolsonaro is in charge at this point, but we want to eventually topple the Lula regime, I guess. Alright, let's declare war upon Brazil. Now, this is going to be really quite tough, as they're going to be backed quite closely to Argentina, Paraguay. And I'm curious to see, and we're doing alright for now, but we're actually pushing through the Colombian border and Amazon rainforest. So it might be hard to go through. Korea, Sweden, Poland. It does seem like a lot of NATO countries are helping us out. Okay. Looks like our Air Force isn't doing too alright. But it seems like the US aerial equipment that we got is helping us out. Okay. So there was really no need to go after Guyana or Ecuador. We're strong enough at the moment to challenge Brazil. The US has now arrived with units. Hilarious. We've got US forces fighting alongside Colombians and Mexicans to conquer Brazil. I suppose the NATO alliance fell through. But we are trying to grow our ties closer to the West. And I'm sure the US is quite happy with us uniting and securing South and Central America, like democratically. Saves them doing it. They're pushing quite well, though. Bradleys. Tearing up the fields of the Amazon forest. Okay, we could be doing with some better equipment. Equipment's starting to get a little bit shot now that we've been in multiple wars back to back to back. The stock market is booming, which is fantastic, but this is taking ages to progress. Got rid of a housing crisis. We're doing alright. 50k Brazilians have been taken out. It's just taking time. My God. This is taking so long to push through. Oh my God. This war's been going on for years now. It's ballooned to 120k losses for them. But now we are starting to get close to the capital, which was moved from Rio de Janeiro to Brasilia. Alright, let's keep it up. Okay, now that we're about to divide them, I think the US units are going to be better on a different terrain. Probably should grab that air base. Yeah, I don't know what Canada's doing in this, but Colombia's now massive, of course. We could have just given it all to Colombia, I don't know. Or maybe we should just puppet Brazil. But Mexican forces are about to land in the favelas of Rio. And Rio's now taken. And then we go to Sao Paulo. Look at that. Oh my God, it was such a slog through the forest there. They're halfway towards capitulation now. The French. On trade? Come on, nearly now. We're so far south. Closer towards Uruguay. 2020 now, oh my God. Gotta give it to the Brazilians. They really made us work for this one. My God. I tried to speed things up. I'm gonna have to speed things up cutting that down because that took so long. Because I do try to edit my videos to be more a bit snappy. Jeez, that took like an hour and a half to push through the forest. Oh my God. So now that we've puppeted Brazil. Nice. And we've brought him into a western outlook. Okay, he's now fled further south, which is interesting. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. If we ever wanted to get all of South America, we're just painting the continent. There's no real challenge there now. But here we go. The Mexican Empire has now been complete. Canada's doing their own unaligned thing. I'd have loved to invite them in, but they're not for whatever reason. But anyway, unfortunately, I got to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the forming and bringing back of the Mexican Empire. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more Hearts of Iron 4 content, of course, coming out in 2023 this year. I've got a lot of videos planned, and we've got a lot of content coming out over the next coming weeks and days. So thanks for watching. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpsy, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.